All right, what's up, everybody? Steven here, the Horror Freak 85 for episode 52, a special night, Tuesday. So, welcome to everyone who's listening and that will be joining us very shortly. I already sent him the link, I was talking to him. We'll have Nathan Baesel coming on, who, of course, played Leslie Vernon. So, we'll be talking to him about that and some other stuff that he's done. Invasion, the TV show he was on. He actually worked as a coordinator on a bunch of shows. We'll discuss
interesting shows,
especially the 1,000 Ways to Die. I love that show, so I'm gonna have to ask him about that. Bring it up here, and we'll just ask a few questions. I know a lot of Leslie Vernon fans, so. Well, that'll definitely be a big topic, but before we get into that, I got some questions that'll lead up to it. So, kill some time, let some people join in. So, how's your week been?
It's all right. Just watching out. We got some storms coming in, so hopefully we don't have a tornado siren go off during this.
Like storms everywhere. It's just like snowstorms, rainstorms, typhoons, earthquakes, whatever. It's the end of the world as we know it. I don't know about you, but I feel fine. Let's bring it up here. Yeah, but what else? Let's catch up. I was watching the new episode of 911, which was pretty good. I don't know if you watch those or not, do you? The 911?
I've not seen 911, but I've seen like other like crime shows. I know that's not technically a crime show, but
well, some of it is though. I mean, there's some police portions of it too. So, but yeah, it was a fear episode, and this guy, you'd like this. He went in a shark cage, scuba dive in a shark cage. And it turns out he had a fear of sharks. It was a stupid thing to do. And so when he's in there, he's like freaking out. He's all paranoid. And he's not supposed to open the cage and go out and everything. And he just saw a dolphin go by. It wasn't even a shark. And he hit the other guy. And because the cage broke because he was panicking and it sank. So they had to rescue. So he was further down than the 20 feet or whatever, and he's freaking out. So he opens the cage, knocks the other guy, and he just goes to the surface. But you can't do that because of the pressure. So he went like so super fast. He got like his blood vessel, his eyes, and he was like maybe.
I forget what that's called.
Yeah, I can't think of
it. It has a special name, but I can't. I know it. I just can't think of what it's called.
Yeah, there's the term. I forget what it's called. The pressure when they have to be depressurized and the helicopter was like 15 or 20 minutes out. And so it was there wasn't enough time. The new medic lady or the firefighter was saying how she used to work with divers and she knew like he didn't have that much time. So they actually went to this freezer at this sushi place and they made like their own depressurizer tank and everything. So it was interesting. It was an interesting episode. And then it turns out once they woke him up, he was saying, I'm afraid of sharks, and you go you go in the cage to.
I want to do that so bad. Everybody says I'm crazy, but I would love to do that at least once. I don't know if I would freak out with a bigger shark, but I know at the aquariums when they have those pet tanks, we can pet different things. Sometimes they have little sharks in there, and I'm always in there like petting them. I think I've petted about 5 different types. Different aquariums that we've been to,
right?
And like one was like I think it was called a bonnet head or something. It's like a cousin or something to a hammerhead, but it's small.
Nice.
And
what's up, Aaron? Aaron's here, of course. Yeah, I know they got those like smaller sharks and stuff, and the less predatorial ones, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I want to go in the cage, see a megalodon.
Yeah, if I could see a great white, I would love to at least once. And if I'm just on the boat and not even down in the water, just on the boat and see it go, but
just make sure you have a bigger boat.
Right. But yeah, I would love to see one. Yeah, my son would always have to pull me away from the pet tanks. Like, come on, I want to go see the rest of the stuff. No, I want to pet sharks.
So what are you up to, Aaron? Everything going good? I mentioned, I don't know if you heard, I was talking about like cage diving with sharks because of an episode of 911 that was on this past week. I think it was last night actually, and I was watching it earlier today. But, so
I've seen advertisements for it, but I just never think about it. Well, I don't even know like what it plays on, but
yeah,
but
I mean
I just
everything.
never
There's
looked
police
into it. Isn't
calls.
Angela Bassett in that?
Yeah, she's a police officer. So I mean, there's like some
Yeah, I
crazy.
love her, so I don't know. Maybe eventually I'll check it out.
And yeah, this one was like a phobia episode. And then this guy who's a dog sitter was sitting for this rich guy, and he thought the guy had pups. He's like, "Oh, where are they?" Turns out they were giant tarantulas, like about this big. And the guy was rich, and he didn't want to like do it at first. He was like kind of like ready to get out of there, and they was now paying him $50 a day, so it ended up being like eight or an hour or something ridiculous because he had to keep or they had a certain feeding schedule. And so it would have been like over $8,000 for the week. So he stays in this rich guy's house, nicer, everything, and $8,000. So he decides to do it. He leaves, I guess, a cage or two open, and while he's sleeping, one of the tarantulas goes into his bed and bites him. And it like there's a 911 call from the guy who owns it, and he's saying, "I need a welfare check." And they're like, "Sir, what's the problem?" And it's like, "My pets are, they need to be fed." And at first, like, "Yeah, it's not a pet call." And he goes, "Well, I have the sitter there." And they're like, "So there's a person involved? Should that have been the first thing to say?" And so they go to check on him, and he's wrapped up in webs and everything. And it looks like we got someone here. Hey, welcome. How you doing today?
All right, how are you?
Good.
I'm the cat.
Yeah, we were discussing 911. This guy was bitten by tarantulas, and they wrapped a web around him. And when they came in, they had to cut open the web, and he had bites all over him. It was insane. So, but welcome. How you been this week?
Okay.
So, how about you? You watch anything interesting, or what do you like?
Oh gosh, I don't.
No, not much into series.
Anything regularly.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd pick up little, stuff here and there, but I don't watch anything religiously.
Not much of a series. That's all right. So, yeah, we'll be talking about the rise of Leslie Vernon in just a little bit, but let's talk about the rise of Nathan. What was it like growing up, and what kind of shows or movies or any people inspired you to do what you do?
Sheesh. I guess my family. I just kind of followed my older brothers, followed their footsteps, and movies and TV always interested me. Music interested me. So yeah, I just kept on following on that because it was just the path that seemed like it was the most bright. So I went that way.
Always most natural. So, like in school, I'm assuming you took like TV productions or drama or anything like that, or was that something that
I took acting classes and just focused on acting to just get better with that. And the more education I got, the more I saw that there was more to learn, and the just kept on. There was always more. There was always more to learn, so I just kept on going that route of trying to learn as much as I could.
Mm-hmm. And there's, I've seen you've done some like post-production coordinator. What exactly is that detail for people who don't know?
We deliver reality TV programming, and so all of those shows that we deliver to the networks have to be accompanied by a bunch of legal paperwork and agreements and releases and all kinds of documentation, and that's my job, is getting all that stuff over to the network. It's not very sexy, but it's got to get done.
Yeah, there are some different, some interesting ones. I remember 1,000 Ways to Die. How was it working with that? Because I know, like, I guess you said like documentation and releases and all that, and those were like crazy stories of how people died and names were changed and everything. So was that interesting learning about these deaths? And did you deal with any of the people involved, or just the documentation of it?
Just the documentation. I did, like I said, there's nothing sexy about it. It's just paper. It's just paper and document files, and they gotta all get delivered, and I gotta do it.
Okay, so that really didn't involve any. Okay, so no people interaction then with that, unfortunately.
Nope, nothing creative, nothing creative at all.
Was that how long were you into that before moving on to acting and being in front of the camera? Did that lead up to it?
Oh no, I'm still doing it. It's a response to acting because, you know, there's a whole bunch of time that's in between your jobs, and acting jobs can have more and more time in between them, and you still got to make money somehow.
Right.
So that was that. Post-production is how I make my money.
Okay. You have anything, Boone, before I continue there? Or?
Did they just like assign you to those certain shows, or did you have to like do it's probably gonna sound stupid, but I don't know how else to word it, like kind of like do like a audition kind of thing? Or
no, it was a small enough company that we had, you know, anywhere between 5 and 10 shows going on at any one time, and so
yeah, I noticed most of them are, I think, pretty much by the same network. So I didn't know if just you work for like the one network and they just assign you to the different shows, or
I work for the one company, and then I coordinate with all the different networks. They've all got different requirements, and so we gotta give them what they want the way they want it. And yeah, so I handle all the shows.
Nice.
Awesome. And there's a lot of fascinating shows in your thing.
Yeah, we do some good stuff.
Yeah, what was it? The Storage Wars. Let's see, Married to Medicine. Yeah, did you have any that you like?
There's a lot of the Deadliest Catch ones.
Deadliest Catches, Storage Wars. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So when what was your first acting? Did you do any independent movies or plays before, or what brought you into, and when did you get your agent to get into it?
I got my representation through school. I was in New York going to Juilliard, and I got offered a Broadway show, and I had to figure out whether or not I was going to quit school and do that show or finish school, and I met with some folks, and they gave me their advice, and out of that advice I made some friendships with some agents, and so I got signed then, and I was set coming out of school basically, which was pretty sweet. Yeah, and then just started working, and then moved back out to California and did mostly TV stuff. Behind the Mask was the first film that I did.
Mm-hmm. Do you still do theater work?
I do occasionally, I guess. I did a show last year, so I guess the answer is occasionally rather than no. But yeah, mostly I'm just teaching acting now. But every now and then I get back out and do some acting.
Awesome. I think this is a question for you. I don't know if it was in the chat or not, but it said, "Are you a Time Bandit fan? And have you ever met Mike Rowe?"
I've not met Mike Rowe, but our company obviously has a lot of interaction with him because he does voiceovers for some of our shows. So on paper, I've interacted with him, but I've never sat down and had a beer with him. Yeah, what was the other question?
Are you a Time Bandit fan?
Oh, Time. I was thinking the Terry Gilliam movie Time Bandits, but that's not the same thing. That's the ship in Deadliest Catch.
Okay, that's.
Yes, I am a Time Bandit fan. I actually that was one of the first jobs I had at the company was working on a Time Bandit special for Deadliest Catch.
And since you got into television first, I believe Invasion, you did that before Behind the Mask, right? The television series Invasion.
Mm-hmm.
So how was it working with like an alien show? Do you have any thoughts of life on other planets, or nah?
Yeah, do one. If you could do an alien show, that's great. Do one. Invasion was awesome, and it was the first time I had a show that had that kind of longevity to it. And man, my bank account really loved that.
I'm sure.
But it was good people, and the creators were great, and my boss was Sean Cassidy.
Mm-hmm.
Always
Any interesting or funny stories behind the set on Invasion that you remember?
Oh yeah, but I can't talk about them.
The real good ones you can't talk about.
Yeah, no. Or if somebody does talk about the stories, those aren't the good ones. No, but it was a good time, and it was a great crew, and there was a lot of work to get done, and we were always pushing hard, but we always knocked it out, and the results were pretty great, I thought.
Which do you find more challenging, doing a TV series or a feature film?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. That's with the. It depends on how much you're getting used and utilized. You know, if you're in a bunch of scenes, then you got a lot of scene work to do, and I guess it's kind of 6.5 dozen between film and TV. How demanding that scene work's going to be, because TV's got its challenges just like film does. But I enjoy working on both of them, and I enjoy being having a lot of demands on me. I prefer being a process that's challenging, rather than just kind of drifting by. You know, I see I see, and I've got friends who have shows on those. You know, everybody knows those 1 hour cop dramas, and my goodness, I don't know how you keep your sanity when you're just doing the same scene every show. It's just the same scene over and over and over again. I know that they're getting compensated well, but I just it's hard to keep your sanity when you're not being judged.
Yeah, speaking of the crime shows, you've been in several of them, of course, just like one episode, unfortunately. But was you into the crime shows before you started doing some of those?
Oh no, I don't really. I don't find them challenging as an actor. I don't find them challenging as a viewer. It's just not really what I gravitate toward. But yeah, that's basically what I do is play the bad guy in a 1 hour cop drama. That's my bread and butter.
Nice.
And before we get into Behind the Mask, were you a fan of any slasher movies prior? And what do you think makes a good slasher movie?
Well, I guess the classic Nightmare on Elm Street was my door of entry to slashers, and that maybe put me off from slashers because it was so. I'm a scaredy cat, and so scary movies kind of upset me a little bit. It wasn't until a couple of years ago that I watched Halloween for the first time, and I saw was it Friday the 13th as like research for Behind the Mask.
Mhm.
Yeah, they were movies that I steered away from because I find them so affecting. So, but then, meeting and getting to know Robert Englund was a really fantastic um, gateway to appreciating, I think, um, what those movies have to offer, which is a real a visceral experience. I think I tend to steer away from movies that push my buttons because I, I'm a control freak and I don't like my buttons getting pushed.
Mhm.
And when you're watching a horror movie or a slasher specifically, it's all about button pushing, and I'm reluctant to surrender myself to that experience. But when I do, it's always really impressive.
Was
Yeah.
Jason the only movie you used for inspiration, or did you kind of like dabble in anything else?
I wasn't really well versed, and in fact, I didn't really need to be because the all of my characters. Um, it was all in the script.
Right.
Everything that he says about conventions and it was all in the script. And so what I needed to do was to, say the words believably and really, wrap my brain around the words, not really, you know, indulge myself in the experience. Where my lack of awareness was a problem was when was first, because the movie's, kind of a documentary and then kind of a film. And the documentary parts were easy. It's just, it's all mask off, so you're just being cool and saying words. But for the mask on stuff, for the film stuff, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do with my body. What am I supposed to do here? And I started being an actor and I started, making choices about things and I started doing stuff and it turned out that that was a problem. The director came up with me after a few takes and he's like, all that stuff that you're doing, you don't need to do that stuff. You just don't, just be there and then you kind of move out of the shot. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm a, uh, and eventually I learned to appreciate. I'm a machine. I'm a killing machine, and there's nothing that can possibly stand in my way. I get that. I can wrap my brain around that.
With the Leslie Vernon, there's a lot of horror legends in there. They got Robert Englund, Kane's in it for just a little bit. Scott Wilson, you have a lot of parts in with him. And then Zelda, her last name's escaping me at the moment.
Rubenstein.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Did any of them give you like pointers or anything to help you?
Well, I didn't get to work with Kane, although I've seen him at conventions since, and he's super cool, and his contribution to the movie was great. I mean, it's for horror fans that recognize him, and a lot of horror fans immediately recognize him. It's a special treat for them when they see Kane Hodder popping up for a cameo in our movie in front of the Nightmare on Elm Street house. That's just pretty. It's a whoa moment,
Whoa.
Whoa, no way. Um, but and Zelda, I only got to work with her on. It was our last day of shooting. All the library stuff was our last day of shooting. But Robert, I got to interact with him quite a bit, and he was just so supportive. He didn't um, really offer a whole lot of guidance. He did. Um, when I was doing mask on stuff with him, he knew how to position his body in the frame. If he's getting stabbed by the scythe and stuff like that, he knew all the technical aspects. It was great to watch him work from that perspective because he's done everything, and so he just knew what to do. He knew what this scene was, what this frame was in the in the big picture of the film. He knows exactly what the scene is supposed to do. He knows exactly how he's supposed to deliver it. He knows exactly how to position himself so that the camera's getting the best of it, and that was fantastic. But he was just supportive the whole time about what we were doing, and myself specifically. It was great.
So you said you had only watched Friday the 13th for research and everything. So there are like a lot of horror movie references and Easter eggs. Were there like only a few you were got the reference to, or were they new to you?
Oh yeah, I got no references. I still have people pointing out references to me. I have since watched a Hellraiser movie, the first one, and I'll probably watch them. Eventually, I'm going to see them all. I'm going to check them all off my list, but it's slow. I'm making slow progress.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I thought it was really clever with all the Freddy Krueger and Jason.
They're all real life like murderers,
and how your character inspires to be like them, and it's really clever, all the behind the scenes. And I know you said at the time they get me references, but like the cardio scene, for example, you're like, man, I got to be like a gazelle and go after them.
Well, that was a clever thing about Behind the Mask that really sets it apart from a lot of those other, even the more meta horror movies out there, is that ours takes place in a world where these characters aren't characters in movies; they're people, and we're living in a world where they're all doing what they're doing, and some people really appreciate what they're doing and aspire to contribute.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the whole Michael Myers. That's why I was saying how you like have to walk after them while everybody else is running, and tells how they stalk their victims. I mean, it's just really clever, I think, how it's put together, and you did a great job.
Burying yourself to make it seem dead, or some the sensory deprivation thing. I thought that was clever.
It's a lot of work. Not everybody appreciates how much work goes into it.
Oh yeah.
Everybody thinks you just pick up a knife and you start going for it, but no, if you don't have
research,
you gotta actually do research again.
That's right.
You do a lot of like jumping around, especially in the library. You like jump over a bookcase. Did you have like gymnastics or anything, or are you just naturally flexible to jump like that?
I think I wanted to get things as physical as I could get them, and when you're lumbering around with a mask on, there's not a whole lot of dynamics that physicalities that are available to you. But I'm interested in using my body. I like to do it, and so when I have a chance to kick a punching bag, or leap over a library desk or something like that, I'll take it.
How was it when you were reading the script as Leslie and getting into the mindset of a crazy individual? How does that affect you getting into it, and is there any after effects of getting into this psychotic character?
No. No, I don't. I think the thing that I embraced early on with the character, and I think probably why my take was of interest in pursuing for the director and the writer, when we were doing all the auditions and everything, was that I didn't need to act mean. I didn't need to act evil, whenever I see an actor acting evil, it just screams to me, oh, they don't believe that. They don't believe themselves. If you're evil, you don't need to act evil. You just do evil things. That's you don't have to convince somebody else that you're going to kill them, because you just know that you're going to kill them. So why do you have to convince them? Fuck them. They're the last person that requires convincing of your sincerity. So I wasn't apologetic, and I wasn't acting evil. I was just sincerely in belief of that what I was doing was awesome, and what I was doing was worth committing my life to its pursuit. And I think that was an interesting take, because otherwise you've just got a whole bunch of mustache twisting villains around you,
Right.
and I don't that doesn't scare me. What does scare me is somebody who sincerely believes that what they're doing is a contribution to the universe, and yet what most people define as what they're doing is horribly, evil things. And even more scary is if you, as an audience member, um, start to see where they're coming from. That feels like it's confronting for an audience, and that feels scarier than if somebody's just acting mean the whole time.
Right. And I think Leslie Vernon was more like a realistic character because, like what you said, because real life serial killers, when they interview like their family and friends, whatever, their neighbors, they're just a normal dude. We
Normal
didn't
person.
really see that. And you can see
Mhm.
that in yours. You're just like normal dude wanting to chill, hang out, and then you just snap and you're automatically in the kill zone.
Yeah, when you got a job to do, you set about your job and you go do it.
Right.
And yeah, like you said, everybody has. He was my next door neighbor for so many years. I never knew it. I never would have suspected.
Right. I think that's one thing that kind of portrays, that movie up with a lot of the classics. A lot of people, including me, I will say it's an underrated classic. A lot of people, don't know of this movie, and I think they should put it in their movies because it's great. But I think it's more the realistic side. Of course, there's no like magical. I shouldn't say there's no magical stuff because kind of come at the end. Spoilers. I'm sorry. But if you think about it, he was messing with the stuff at the end. He's he could have rigged it to where it's not like a magical comeback. So there's not like myths and voodoo dolls and stuff like that.
Well, part of the research when she came in and to the library, was it Houdini? I think researches. I know that had like different anatomy books and magic and like just a whole bunch of research to like set up these traps. So,
and he is applying that burn gel and all that stuff.
Yeah. So he's got everything planned down to the moment there.
That's right.
What was did you enjoy using the scythe? If there was a weapon of choice, is there one that you have rather used, or did you enjoy that one as a character?
Oh yeah, it was great. I like physical stuff, and I'm a little OCD, so having something in my hand that I could just play with, it's like my version of a spinner.
Yeah. That, we also got a little bit of neck breaking in it. One of the cameraman there, so I like that. How is it working with like the practical effects and then also the mask, and how long did that take to do, and what was your favorite part of it?
That was the real interesting psychological part of it for me was once the mask was on, I insisted that when the mask is on, don't fuck with me. Just stay away from me, and I'll do my job and we'll get it done. But I'm not going to chit chat, and for the most part, everybody, really respected that. So for the mask on stuff, I just really allowed myself to be in a mode of getting the job done, and it took me to some really interesting places physically. It massively improved my strength. I was able to pick up dudes and carry them without it showing the weight of the effort, you know. And I've just felt like I could do anything. I felt like I could do anything because I had really allowed myself to believe that when the mask is on, I'm in go mode, and nothing stops me. So that was really interesting to explore. I think the theoretical thing that really helped was when I realized that I'm serving a greater purpose. I'm serving a life, a universal purpose. I'm serving a yin yang purpose to the universe. You know, there are some people who are on one end of the spectrum who seek to, you know, aid and nurture and comfort and heal, and then there are people on the other side of the spectrum who do the opposite of that, and that they're both necessary for the balance. And once I realized that for myself, I think intellectually you kind of get that, but once I appreciated for myself that there's nothing to apologize for. It's something to be celebrated. What I'm doing here is something that isn't just, you know, serving my my bloodlust. It's spiritually necessary.
Yeah, kind of like
balance out the good and evil.
Good and evil. I was going to say, like when you found your Ahab is in Robert Englund's character, it's like, what's an Ahab? And you have to explain about the whole good and evil. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. It was all just confirmation that what I was doing was serving a greater purpose, a greater good on the other end of the spectrum.
Right. Yeah.
Also, I kind of found it interesting about the mask too is how you had the makeup under it. So in a way, you had like two. I mean, I know it was like the burn gel and everything, but it kind of made like an interesting little facial expression on there. Like, do you think that little expression, in a way, expressed his soul?
Yeah. You know, some of the design of it was about trying to physicalize or materialize the legend that he was, you know, building. You know, a boy, you know, who's killed and eaten by turtles. It's just all of that. You know, the mask was a kind of literal translation of somebody an innocent who's killed before their time, and so that mask has a kind of embryonic quality to it. The makeup underneath is kind of removing the me from it because I'm about to become something else. So it was a really interesting way to visualize that legend that I was building, you know.
Anything else, Boom? You want to build on that there?
Sorry, I was coughing for a minute. I had to mute myself for a second. With the way they ended it, has there ever been talk? I know it's really old now, but have there ever been talk about making a sequel, or was there supposed to be a series?
Yeah, we tried to get a GoFundMe type thing together, and that fell through. We got a lot of support, but we just didn't make that threshold, and so things got complicated because the power of making the movie was kind of out of our hands without studio intervention or you know, big money intervention. It was just not something that we were going to be able to pull off on our own, and we looked into TV as another way of translating the behind the mask story into something that we could keep the ball rolling on. And I it's not dead. We're still I got a lot of gray hairs that I didn't have when we shot the thing, or that I even had when we were looking at trying to get a sequel off the ground. But yeah, it's not dead. We're gonna do something. We'll get around to it one of these days. It's just
Right.
it's such a massive undertaking, and also I think the folks involved we're not so interested in keeping it going that we'll make concessions on the quality of it in order to, do you know what I mean? It's not so important to us that we keep the ball rolling, that we do it by any means necessary. If the right concept comes around and the right format in which to present that concept lines up, yeah, we'll do it. And I know that everybody would love to get back on board, but it'll take whatever time it takes.
That's good to hear that it's not completely dead in the water, so we could still have hope.
How would you
always have hope? Always have hope.
Yeah, gotta have hope. I mean, hey, if Michael Myers and Halloween can come back after all that time, of course, always Leslie Vernon can come back. If he does, where would you like to see that character go? Because Robert's line was saying how he was just a man. Do you want it to go as like he survived, with his tricks, or do you want to see it go as a more supernatural turn?
I think what was interesting to me about Leslie Vernon in the original movie was that he was a guy who felt like he was on the verge of doing something amazing and unleashing a new legend into the world. And what would be interesting for me to explore with any next iteration of it wouldn't be an alternate reality where he got shot out of the gate and he's been taking the world by storm ever since. It would be a guy who had every expectation that he was going to get out there and light the world on fire, and then he gets out there and the world's like, who the fuck are you? And then turns its back because there's some other noise that's sucking up the vacuum. And Leslie's sitting here going, what do I, and has to figure out how to bounce back from that. And that's interesting for me, because any times I can have a parallel with the character that's just inherently interesting to me. But I think it's also interesting to folks in general, because it's, for a lot of us, you don't get launched out of the cannon and then you fall into a nice comfy net. You get launched out of the cannon and you land on the cold hard ground and you go, ow, what was that? And and it's a matter of can you pick yourself up again, and do you go back at it? Do you have the courage to go back after it again, and reconciling yourself with that? I think those are interesting questions worth exploring.
Somebody in the chat said it's your birthday. Is it your birthday?
It was a few days ago.
Oh, well,
Are
happy
you going to sing me happy birthday? Do you have a cake with candles on it?
Happy birthday to you.
I never got a cake with candles on it. You all could. No?
Unfortunately, I do not have a cake with candles.
No cake and candles, no.
I could go grab a candle. Oh, here's a dinosaur light, if I could get it to work.
Or is there like maybe an app or something that has like a cake we can show?
We can't play the happy birthday song because it's copyrighted.
It's a belated birthday. Happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
Or
I can play the titty song. You want to hear the titty song?
That's not copyright?
No,
I made it.
There you go. That's how you get rich. You write your own titty song.
It's just a bunch. It's me, Boob, Rob Mello saying titties when we were doing.
And Rebecca Reinhardt's in there too.
Yeah, Rebecca Reinhardt.
We had an issue where it was echoing, and so Rob, instead of saying testing, he was saying titty, and he was having fun with it. So it was like a half hour of just everybody saying titty. So I clipped the funniest ones and I put it to music, and voila, we have a titty song.
Do you have to cut Rob a check every time you pay that, or how do you?
I don't know.
I put him in the credits, but we don't get no money.
No.
I don't know. Did you put that one on Spotify? I forget because maybe it will get played.
Yeah, it's on Spotify.
There we go. All right. We get a penny every time it's played.
Cha-ching. Those add up. Just ask my residual checks.
Exactly.
Yeah, we got like 40 cents on Spotify.
Yeah, we're getting up there.
But there's nothing to complain about. At least it's something.
Behind the mask, were there any pranksters on the set, or it was all just professional done through?
Oh no, there was nothing professional about Behind the Mask. No, there was. We got our work done. But there was a lot of fun doing it. Yeah, that was it was probably the most let your hair down kind of filmmaking you could do. But it was a good group of folks, and we had a job to get done. And we got the job done, but we did it having a lot of fun. I think that translates too. I think what the audiences respond to is they get that feel, I think it gets across on some level, and that was just getting a good group of people together who knew how to do their job and enjoyed each other's company.
Yeah, definitely good chemistry between the characters. I'm sure there were some funny parts, like speaking of, turtles, your character was eaten. You also had a couple of pet turtles, and you're just like, little bastards, they won't die.
Church and Zoe.
Yep, Church and Zoe. I only have pets you can eat. They're just like, okay, that's normal. Have a little turtle soup, I guess, for dinner. I don't know.
Have you never had turtle soup? It's
No.
tasty.
My
mom has. She said it is, but I've never tried it.
I've had alligator tail. Alligator tail is really good, but
I've had alligator. I don't know if it was the tail or not, but there's a restaurant in my hometown that sells alligator, so I've had that. But
tastes like chicken.
And does a little bit.
Yeah. Same thing with frog legs. I heard it just tastes like chicken.
I've had frog legs. Yeah. They're not too bad.
Everything tastes like chicken, I think.
That's all it is. Yeah, it's just chicken in another form, just a mutated chicken. That's all it is. Go ahead, Boom.
I know this is kind of an off-the-wall thing, but I know at least some of the things I've watched. You worked with Scott Wilson, and then there was a TV show where you worked with Seth Gilliam, two people from The Walking Dead. If you ever had the opportunity to go on to, I know it's kind of ending now, but if you ever had the opportunity to go on The Walking Dead, would you go on, and would you want to be a character or a zombie?
Yeah, I would totally do The Walking Dead. Are you kidding me? Those guys will never have to work again. All they got to do is just ride the con circuit. That's all you got to do from here on out is just ride the con circuit, and you just never have to have another paying gig again. I saw the first 2 seasons of it, I think, and of course, yeah, Scott Wilson was fantastic on that show.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, maybe being a zombie would be more fun. No, it wouldn't be more fun. Because I realized all I had to do was think about it for a second. I was like, no, because then you're just sitting there. Then you're just sitting there and all that shit on your face, just waiting to get used. And then you get used for like 5 minutes, and then they got to set up another shot, and then you're just sitting there again for another 2 hours while they're getting the next shot set up. No,
it's probably a lot of makeup because they look so gross looking.
Yeah, I wanted to be an extra on it when I went to a convention, but you had to be a resident by Atlanta. I'm like, well, that sucks. That'd be fun to be an extra zombie in that. And they were talking about how they had signed up for zombie school, and I'm like, sign up for zombie school before the show. All right. It's like, just move on. Yeah. Okay. I can teach myself. But I found that interesting. And they were like, "Oh, you're a resident, right?" And I'm like, "No." And they're like, "Yeah, you have to." I'm like, "Okay, thanks, bye." But I tried. It would have been an interesting experience.
Zombie school.
Yeah. It's not zombies that attend, but it's like zombies.
I think if I remember correctly, I might be off on that. I think they created that when they first started doing that because they needed more and more zombies for The Walking Dead. And now they got 2 spinoffs and they're getting more spinoffs coming.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, they kind of created it so they can get people in there to do the different zombies.
Now they got a zombie university, and they're just matriculating everybody up from zombie school to zombie university.
I would love to say I graduated from zombies university.
Most of the people there had no brains, unfortunately. They tried to get them, but they had what was I gonna say? I was thinking about like just getting a PO box in Atlanta and be like just have that idea and drive up there and be like, "Yep, okay, maybe I could be an extra in the new one."
You could totally do that. People do that with voting all the time.
It works. So, sort of mentioned it earlier, the physicality of it. How much physical preparation did you do? I guess you said you did some punch in the bag and kickboxing and stuff, but any other physical activities you did for training as Leslie?
No, I really didn't, and I really should have because we actually never made the final cut. Probably for good reasons, because we shot a run-walk scene. You know, that when he's talking about, you know, everybody else is running, and I'm supposed to be walking, and we shot one of the first things we shot. In fact, yeah, on day 1, we were supposed to be shooting the run-walk scene where Taylor's running and Leslie's running after her, but every time she turns around, he's stopped and he's walking, you know, like kind of Frankenstein walk, and then she turns back forward and he starts running again, and you know, he's basically catching her by just, you know, only walking whenever she's turning back to look. And each time we shot that scene, I pulled a hamstring. And it was just an early indicator that I was not in the kind of shape that I thought that I was. Because I told Angela, who was playing Taylor, I told her to just go for it, just run, you know, just go full as fast as you can go, and I'll catch up with you. I'll keep up with you. But I didn't. Neither time did I catch her, because first of all, she's really, really fast, and second of all, I was having some old man problems with my hammies, and yeah, it was humiliating.
You got to stretch and do like with the.
Yeah, I didn't stretch. I had no stretch, you know, thing. I no prep, no stretching, no, you know, yoga, whatever.
Yeah, you could fit in, like, if you've seen Zombieland, they have the rules with the cardio and the stretching and all that.
You got to like, work in your hammy stretches.
Implement that into the next movie. Okay, I got to stretch.
Well, I mean, if you're gonna do, you know, Leslie's back out there again, you cannot miss all of those jokes that are just there. They're just, you know, ripe for the picking of, you know, an old man trying to do a young man's game.
I can't be that old.
You don't see all these gray hairs? Come on.
It's just one of those filters. That's all. It's not real.
Well, some people go gray early.
Yeah. But what was his name? Taylor or whatever from American Idol years ago. That one singer.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It was I forget his last name, but I think he was like his. Taylor something. I can't remember his last name.
No, you're right. That was like a season 3 or something.
It was like way in the beginning. Yeah. I think he was like in his 20s or 20, and they were like, "Oh, really?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I played off." He's like, "I love it." So
prematurely gray. Yeah.
Hey, it could happen. I don't watch American Idol, so I have no clue who
this was back when Simon. This before the new people on now. This was like one of the first few seasons. So I know you said you didn't watch really any series. Are you more of a reality person though? Do you enjoy the reality more than fictional shows? Or
No, the only series that I really watch regularly is Superman and Lois. I catch that whenever there's a new episode out. But yeah, the rest I catch, I guess, on streaming services and what. Well, no, now I started watching the We're Under Attack, the new Moon Knight series. I'm watching that. Yeah.
Yeah, I found it pretty interesting. And Ethan Hawke is in it, so yeah, I like it with the Egyptian gods. So I think we were talking about that last week, Boom. I had started watching.
Right, yeah, I pulled up the trailer and was talking about watching it, but I don't know what happened. We ended up not watching it. Yeah, anyway, I'm sure we'll watch it eventually.
The first time I was ever asked for my autograph, it was from somebody who thought that I was Ethan Hawke in a Gap store in New York.
When we were sharing the thumbnail around saying that you were coming on, my sister-in-law thought you looked like Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon, never got that one, but that'd be all right.
Yeah, in the thumbnail that we used. It's funny.
Yeah, because I think I took it off the IMDb. I don't remember where I got the picture. I remember I Googled your name and whatever picture came up. But yeah, I was sharing the picture around. She shared like a gif of Kevin Bacon, and then she said something about he looks like Kevin Bacon. I was like, oh yeah, kind of. I didn't think about it, but yeah, I could see it.
It's like, yes, we'll be discussing Tremors.
I could. I've never seen it, but I could.
So when he asked for your autograph, thinking that's who you were, did you sign it or be like, no? Make him happy and just like,
I signed it Ethan Hawke.
Just like, yeah.
What would you do?
Just let him be happy. That's all right. He's probably telling everyone, yeah, I met Ethan Hawke.
Yeah. Taking it, she was showing it around to all of her friends. I'll bet she was the Miss Popular all day long. So she met Ethan Hawke in a Gap in New York.
I forget who it was, but there was like one of the talk shows Jimmy Fallon, and someone had thought they were a certain actor, and they're like, wait, he was like, I couldn't crush the guy. He thought he met him, so yeah, sure, it's fine. Whatever makes you happy. Any other interesting fan encounters like that at conventions, or just anything funny?
I crashed a party once. It was a closing night cast party for a New York show, and I was walking around, and I saw at a table Sam Shepard was sitting at a table, and a famous playwright actor, and he invited me to sit down at his table, and I realized after I'd taken a couple swigs of beer that he'd invited me to sit down because he thought that I was Billy Crudup, who starred in the show that this party was celebrating, and I realized that I'm not Billy Crudup, but he thinks that I am. The problem is I'm never going to get another invite to sit down at a table and share a beer with Sam Shepard, so I'm going to ride this out. And I did, and I enjoyed a fantastic beer sitting there in the presence of Sam Shepard. It was awesome.
Definitely experience. Could turn that down.
Did the real guy like show up and like bust you out?
Oh, he was totally around. He was wandering around the whole time. I mean, it wasn't. And in fact, I knew that I needed to get up at some point soon, because he was going to wander around in front of the table at some
and then
point.
Make it to your table.
Yeah, Sam Shepard was going to be like, "What?
No, you're not. This is it. What? Bye."
Yeah, I didn't want to be there for that realization.
It sounds like
I couldn't help myself. I wanted to say her.
It sounds like a movie moment itself. Who the fuck is this guy? Yeah, okay.
It was pretty fun. Come on, I'm doing a thing. Come on.
And that's okay.
We're pet friendly here.
Then
I
when
am
you came
not.
on, I was holding my cat, so
I am not.
Not pet friendly. Go to the conference. Go to me.
the kitty all black.
Yeah.
Love all
You
black
know what you
cats.
did.
Doomsday says, I think it's very underestimated the physicality needed when we was talking about the physicality for the being the Leslie Vernon.
Mhm.
And I think it's right too. Yeah, a lot of people don't realize how much really goes into playing these characters. Just think you just get up and basically just do it, or and they just like adjust it in the production or whatever.
I didn't really hurt myself, but that was unexpected. When I was an extra, I never backed down. The Fight Club scene in the parking lot when they're running out of the club. We did that scene at night from 6 in the evening to 6 in the morning. And probably about 30 times they had us running all out of that club. And I'm like, okay, let's all run. I'm like, I don't feel like running again. Come on. I knew I was going to be an extra, but I thought I was in the crowd. But it was an interesting experience, though. So seeing all the fighting they had the helmets on, painting on the bruises in between. So, but yeah, even being an extra sometimes can be like, I was unaware of this. So I feel you on that. It can be challenging.
But you
If I
got
had to run, I'm just like,
yeah, I had to work on my cardio. Got to keep up with the crowd.
If I had to run, I'd just say, okay, I'm just dead now.
We got to prepare.
Yeah. We can get far. Either my hip or my leg would give out.
There was something else I was going to say. I can't remember. But did you have any other questions? My other question just went out of my head. But
I think we covered this in the beginning. But did you prefer? Do you prefer the acting, or do you prefer being behind the scenes?
Well, I'm doing a lot of teaching right now, and that's really interesting to me, and more interesting than acting. And it's one thing to come up with a process that works for you. It's another thing to communicate that in a way that's going to contribute to somebody else's abilities and skills and process. So that's kind of where my head's at right now, and I'm getting a lot out of it. So I guess I'd say behind the scenes is working for me.
Awesome. Are you teaching like theater or like
acting
classes?
Acting,
or...
nice.
Yeah.
You probably said it, and I just didn't hear you earlier.
Yeah, teaching acting for people that are doing theater work, film work, whatever. I adapt.
Awesome.
Educate
the next serial killers for our next movies.
How to become a serial killer 101. There we go. If anyone was interested in taking classes from you, do you have like a site, or how do we look that up if they want to take
I'm not the greatest at managing my social media, but whenever I do a project or have classes to announce, I throw it up on my social media. So I guess just follow me.
So it's like different little workshops every now and then. It's not just like
yeah, it's not a regular class. COVID has kind of shaken up schedules, so I'll get things back up on a regular, but for now, it's occasional workshops.
Okay. So yeah, we'll just later put up your Instagram and other social media, and that way people can keep an eye on it if they're interested. So, trying to think of. Do you have any other besides the teaching? Any projects coming up? No, just teaching. Yeah, COVID's pretty much done that. So
I have 2 boys. They're my projects. I put as much time as I can into them. Putting a lot of time into myself, my me project. Yeah, trying to just get cool and be chill and get my head on straight. Yeah, that's where I'm putting my focus.
Family activities. What do you enjoy doing in your spare time that puts you in that mood that you like to chill?
I'm running a lot, every day pretty much, and that's huge for me. And really denying my impulse to reach for my phone or the remote control. That's pretty much what the recipe for my recent success has been. I realized at the beginning of COVID, I realized just how much I turned to things for distraction, and I've been on a campaign to require less distraction.
Any other interesting facts we might not know about you?
No,
that's pretty much.
I'm not interested.
I'm looking for
I'm not interested. I spend my time really here. This is where I spend most of my time, sitting by the window. I look out the window. I think a lot. I write a lot.
What do you like to write? What do you like to write?
I journal. I write about concepts for acting, exercises, that kind of thing. I write letters to people. I'm trying to get old school. I'm trying to actually, instead of doing clicky clicks with my fingers, I'm trying to do righty writes. And so I send letters to folks, and yeah, that's it. And I'm just keeping it quiet, and that's been working.
Nice.
Awesome. I was able to find your Instagram, so I put that in the chat for people to find.
Oh, hey, Peggy. She's a teacher too.
So, yep. That's actually my mom right there. She decided to join tonight. So, supporter of the show there.
Peggy, I'm not teaching anywhere in particular. I'm teaching around. But I'll get a central location hammered out when COVID dissipates for folks to get together safely.
I think you send the attack to my ear. I don't know if you can hear this helicopter going low over my house.
They're coming after you now?
Uh-oh. We're going to get us.
I have a hospital right behind us, so life flight goes like really low over our house, so it happens all the time. But yeah, it was just funny. It was coincidence.
Coincidence?
Yeah.
Is there such thing?
They go really low sometimes. Our whole house shakes sometimes when the helicopters go over.
Well, yeah, I got an airport right here, so I get planes and copters.
Yeah, when I went to see the drive-in movie theater last week with some friends, when we were like maybe about 20 minutes away, had to go to Dothan. That's the closest drive-in. There was like, I swear, like 6 helicopters. I mean, I saw 1, 2, and we're like, gee, did someone escape the prison or something? And then we were driving even on the road. I'm like, gosh, there's 3 more. Like, what's going on? I mean, it was crazy what was going on. They were pretty low. Like, I don't know if they were searching or what was going on, but I'm like, well, if we see anyone in orange, just keep driving.
It's a good rule of thumb.
So don't pick up any hitchhikers.
I found out when we first moved here that the police have drones. I don't remember my hometown police having drones. I was in the backyard, and there's this drone. It's like starts like coming down, I guess, to see what it was doing, because it was looking for somebody at the next street over. And then I went up front and I seen that there was police all over. And I was like, oh, guess they're looking for somebody. Seen somebody hanging out in their backyard.
You have any conventions coming up?
No, nothing lined up. I usually do stuff around October. Yeah, but yeah, nothing's lined up yet.
Okay. And I know like some people might dress up as their character and go around conventions. Have you ever done that, or would you ever surprise convention goers as Leslie Vernon?
Yeah, I've meant to. I just don't. I don't have the gear anymore. I used to have the gear, and I lent it to a friend and never got it back. So
Oh, no.
I've got a scythe. I've got a mask. I usually bring that stuff with me when I do cons. But yeah, I don't have everything together to do a real. But I've been, it's amazing the care and attention that people put into their costumes, and there's a lot of folks that do a really fantastic Leslie Vernon around, and every now and then you'll see him pop up at a con. Generally, if they're going to the trouble of doing a Leslie Vernon cosplay, they've gone all the way with it. I get questions all the time of, what was the specific scythe that you were, and what the overalls that you're wearing? Do you know what store those came at? What manufacturer? And I never paid attention to that. Sorry, didn't realize that was important. But it is important. Some people just really they don't want to attempt it unless they can get it as accurate as possible. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I know sometimes they'll prep for the next convention like a whole year later they'll work on the whole year on their costume. It's amazing what the effort they put into it. So, all right. Oh, yeah, I see Boom's muting herself there. All right. Yeah, I don't think I have any other questions. You, Boom, or
I don't think so.
All right. If you want to stick around, or if you want to go ahead and head out, I mean, thanks for joining us. It's up to you if you want to stay any longer, or if you got stuff.
Yeah, I got to pop out, but it was a pleasure talking to you both, and thanks for keeping the love alive. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Most definitely. And like I said, I got your Instagram posted in the chat. I just started following you, so I got that on there. So
I generally keep stuff posted on Instagram. I try to keep up with Facebook too, but yeah, Instagram's probably a good one for me.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
I wasn't sure if you wanted me to share Facebook. That's why I did Instagram.
The thing is that I don't with Instagram, anybody can friend you, and that's fine. But on Facebook, you have to accept their friend request, and I'm reluctant to accept people on Facebook unless I can tell that they're not,
Right.
I'm kind of the same way.
They're not assholes, because I don't. And then you got to look at their page, and you got to scan, like, wait a minute, was that post? Were they talking about? Yeah, it takes a lot of time to like screen people on Facebook, so I tend to not really like friend requests on there unless I immediately know who the person is.
Yeah, I'm the same way. That's why. Yeah, that's why I just stuck Instagram on there. I was like, I might not want that other one on there, so I'll just go with that.
Yeah,
I'm sure that I could get my ratios better or whatever it is if I was just liking everybody that came across, but I don't care enough.
Then you get your feed full of stuff they don't want to watch, or you get creepy people talking to
yeah, I don't.
I get creepy people on Instagram. I don't know, but
yeah, if some of my people can interact with others of my people, then I feel like I've got a responsibility to make sure that I'm screening these people so that I just.
So it's a good community and not any troll.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I totally understand.
Yeah.
For sure. All right.
Yeah. So it was nice seeing you. I hope you had a good belated birthday. And
yeah.
Thank you. Thank you both. Great chatting with you, and I'll see you.
All right. Take care. Have a great night.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah, we know how there's those Facebook freaks.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I hardly ever. Well, there's a few people I haven't met in real life on there, but if we talk about stuff that I don't want to see in my feed, you're either muted or gone. And there's only a few people I will allow on my Facebook. So it's like one of my good friends from a couple years ago. I have their profile. I didn't unfriend them because they've been really close with them. But I got them muted because they just won't shut up about certain topics. I'm just like, no. I don't want to see this, so no. But I don't want to unfriend
that's
them.
the benefit if
Because,
you don't want to hear anything, just like you.
yeah.
Yeah. So Saturday we got Aaron R. Ryan coming on from Girl in the Crawl Space, Calamity Jane, Betsy. She played Betsy in a werewolf movie and a bunch of other stuff. So that'll be a good one. And
Yeah,
then,
I love Calamity Jane, and I thought that was really good.
yeah, it was actually better than I thought. It was interesting. I liked it.
Yeah.
It was funny.
Yeah, he even liked it, which I was shocked. So he hates everything.
Yep. And let's see. Then what is that? The 23rd is after that, I believe it was. But Jenny Russo will be coming on, one of our Polonia pals. It was in with the group, but we haven't done a one-on-one with her yet. So, and then on the 30th, Maria Olson. So that'll be a fun one too.
Mm-hmm.
Especially the list of her credits. So much.
Right, yeah. I seen your promo for her, and I saw the errands pop up, but I didn't have time to watch that promo. But even though it was only like, I think 40 seconds, something like that.
It was just
yeah, I didn't have time to click it, but when I saw it.
They're usually under a minute. I mean, they're usually not that long. So.
Right, yeah. But yeah, I got to watch the Marie one.
I think the longest promo that I had was Brian Bremer. That was funny. He was fun. Yep. Well, I think I might go eat, and I'm getting up early again tomorrow. I've been getting up at 3 lately, starting out early, so going to bed earlier and then getting back early in the afternoon. So it works for me. I like it. So I mean, easy. So all right. So
yeah, we're supposed to get some storms sometime tonight. We're getting more of them tomorrow than we are today, but.
Hopefully no rain. I don't want to have to deliver in the rain. I usually don't if it's raining. And I mean, like if it's spring, if it's not too bad, I mean, I got my umbrella, I'll deliver, but I hate when it pours down and I can't see. I'm like, nope. So
yeah, I know. Usually I don't go out if it's raining or snowing. And so I keep forgetting I have to get new windshield wipers. So when I get stuck out, it's like one of my windshield wipers, like the little rubber piece is like falling off. And I keep forgetting. It's like, oh yeah, I need to get, but then I go out. I usually don't go out unless I have to go take him to school or something. Then that's like, oh yeah, I need to get windshield wiper.
Yay!
Eventually I'll get it. I won't have time because we're going to Illinois Friday, so hopefully it doesn't rain on the way down there.
Hopefully it'll be a good Friday.
Yeah.
Alrighty then.
It's supposed to be on the road. I won't be in Illinois until like midnight, so I hate driving on the highway at night, but we have to.
Actually, like if it's later at night driving when there's less people on the road.
That's one thing I like, but I don't have the greatest night vision, and I have to drive. That's the only thing I don't like about it, especially if the weather gets too bad.
Yeah, in that area that can be.
But yeah, he won't even get home till like 6 o'clock, so it'll probably be like 7, 8 o'clock before we get on the road, and it takes 3 hours, so it'd be about midnight by the time we get to Illinois. There's been times we didn't get there till 2 o'clock in the morning, so we didn't leave till too late, and I was like, Jesus.
Why?
Yeah. It's like, we need to go.
It's like you arrive as company is like, hi, good night.
Pretty much, yeah. Dad will stay up with us for a little bit because he's used to working third shift, so he can stay up for a little bit. Sometimes my mom's gone or sleep because she works at a gas station, but it's just like, I don't want to be arriving at mom and dad's house at like 2 o'clock in the morning.
Nah.
But I think that was the time we had a flat tire on the highway, so that wasn't really our fault. But yeah. Always fun times.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Anything else in the chat? Nope. All right.
No, just your mom saying thanks for coming.
Which that was already, since he left.
Yeah, that's the last thing I saw.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, thanks again, everyone who came in listening, and we'll see you Saturday with Aaron or Ryan. Bye.
Bye.